Hello, my beautiful rainbow people. Welcome back to Druggies Lives Matter, my Black Lives Matter offshoot program, which is designed to point out the fact that a lot of our problems stem not just from racial um, injustice, but also from social injustice and the war on drugs. And my one of my biggest arguments is that it was the war on drugs and the mentality of the war on drugs that gave the police the license to kill, to look at every American, especially blacks and brown, as inferior criminals that are dangerous and need to be done away with, locked up, or killed. And they prefer to kill us, I think. But that's beside the point. Now, I've been telling you that all of these things that are happening are prophecy. And it is true. It is all prophecy. If you go to the Pot Smokers Bible web uh, video channel on YouTube, start from the beginning. Video view the entire Pot Smokers Bible and Book of Zion, or and you will see that everything that is happening in our world right now is pure prophecy. Now, the fulfillment of prophecy started to play out in actual social context in June of 2015, which was, the day that the prophecy was enacted was May 25th, 2015. I know that because I enacted it. Because I found contained within the Book of Zion, the prophecy of Israel, a set of instructions that I was uniquely qualified to undertake, and so I did. And the very first thing that I was required to do was to establish myself in judgment without using money in a case that had to do with marijuana. So I opened the Temple of Zion, sold marijuana from 2007 to 2014 in in a dispensary type environment, but in a temple where we were a think tank. We don't believe in God as somebody who needs to be worshipped. We believe in God as being those who from the heavens came, aliens. So I'm an ancient alien theorist, and I believe that the Bible, this um, prophecy that I found, these instructions that I found, lead to first contact with aliens who are God. The Bible foretells the return of the alien God to the planet Earth. And it plays out because a particular woman, described in Isaiah 54, which I qualify for in every way, shape, and form, fulfills a specific set of tasks, which begins with a prison sentence that she has to sit out because she lost her case, where she establishes herself as Zion. That is the key pivotal thing, and that happened on May 25th, 2015. A month later, Donald J. Trump announced his run for the presidency. Now, the prophecy of Israel begins with the play out of the prophecy begins with the establishment of a base immoral man into the leading government position. Donald J. Trump ran for and became the President of the United States. While he was running for president, I was going to court and being sentenced to prison willfully. By the way, I had a choice. I could have taken probation and avoided the prison term and therefore avoided the prophecy. So I sat out 2-year prison term on purpose in order to fulfill prophecy as foretold. So the final thing that I was supposed to do pre-Zion, before I become the prophet Zion, is to publish peace without using money, because money is not usable. You can't use it in Zion. The only money you'll ever find in Zion is monopoly money. And we'll take dollar bills and substitute for the cat, for play money. And we'll have, poker, games. That's all money is good for. And that's all money is allowed. Because the prophecy says, come, drink your milk for free, buy your milk for free, buy your wine for free, eat for free. So money is not a thing in Zion. So, and all of this is based on drug use. Because the prophecy foretells that the people who use drugs, all of us potheads and drug users, all of us so-called addicts, were actually created by the gray aliens who are God. They created us by turning us on to drugs. And the drugs contain chemical compounds that initiate a chain reaction within our DNA, which activates latent genetic material that comes directly from them. 1% of our genome is gray, alien genome. That's why we don't have skin. That's why we have skin instead of fur, except for in the particular parts. And it's like, that's why we are so intelligent. And that's why those of us who are turned on genetically as gray humans have advanced telepathic, psychic abilities endowed upon us from on high, from our God, our creators. So the Druggies Life Matter is everything, because we are a unique physical human, separate from all other humans on the planet, according to prophecy. And it is by activating our gray DNA that we become a separate people. Now, every human being on the face of the earth has the genetic code for the gray. Like I said, 1% of our genome is gray. So if we activate our gray genome through the use of drugs, particularly marijuana, then we become a hybrid human gray, which is what we were always meant to be and what we had been prior to the flood. Or so I'm told by the gray. And they have set this prophecy in motion. Well, I set the prophecy in motion because I followed their instructions. And my job as the prophet that they have created, because they really did create me, is to uphold the rights of Black Lives Matter and Druggies Lives Matter movement, the foundation of Zion, to create from all of us ragtag, low-life, poor, oppressed, hippie minorities in America. And I'm supposed to unify you into a nation called Zion in a singular event, which I call the Camp Out for Freedom, where we literally reenact the exodus of Israel from Egypt. Only it is the exodus of Zion from America. So, I'm proposing that my next proposal for the camp out is going to be May 25th, the anniversary of George Floyd's death, and of my appearance in court establishing myself as the Prophet Zion. I take nothing away from George. He is near and dear to my heart, and because I'm a medium, I can tell you that he knows that, because he's standing right here in front of me, and he's nodding his head and wishing me luck, and he is our martyr. He is our number one martyr, and his death was foretold in prophecy, and his death had just as much to do with his drug use as it did with his black skin. Druggies' lives matter. He's got his hand here on my shoulder, and I wish that you could see him. But, of course, the veil has not been lifted unless you're a medium. And if you're a medium, please tell everybody that George is right there, because you can see him as well as I can. Like I said, I take nothing away from George. or for Black Lives Matter. In fact, I elevate it to the extreme because Black Lives Matter is literally the beautiful birth of my rainbow people, the people of Zion, the people who use drugs and are poor and oppressed and who finally have had enough of the bullshit that is money and politics and religion. It's not that I don't believe in God, because I believe that God is alien, but I also believe in what's called the threefold God, which is physical, spiritual, omniscient God, everything. God is everything. It's like we all live within God. Just as within our body, millions of molecules and atoms make up our body. Every planet in the solar system is like a molecule in God's body. And we who are inhabitants of this little tiny molecule are the neurons and all of the quantum particles that make things real. We are the foundation of physical reality. But those of us who use drugs can access that, because the threefold God created the gray, who created the humans, who are the product of the earth. So it's all one big thing, and yet it is all individuals. Each of us in our singular body performing the prophecy in action. Each of you who stands up in the streets and faces that armada of police shields. My beautiful rainbow people, you are the body of Zion. And Zion is the body of the earth. And the earth is the body of the cosmos. And you're all one part of this. And those of us who use drugs, having been pushed and forced to the very bottom of the barrel of human existence, we have been scorched in the fire of adversity, and we have been cleansed of our evil, and we have been redeemed to the point where we are willing to stand up to the guns that oppose us and say, enough. We matter. But we have a name, everyone. That name is Zion. If you believe in the Bible, that is what the Bible says. If you don't believe me, read the prophecy. Read from Isaiah to Malachi. And think about George Floyd when you get to the 3rd chapter of the book of Isaiah. Think about me when you get to the 54th chapter of the book of Isaiah, or the 1st chapter of the book of Isaiah. Think about the police in array against us in our protests in Daniel, when he describes them with their shields and their batons and their guns and their helmets and their badges. It's all there in prophecy. And our only move, our only God-sanctioned, Bible-projected, prophecy-fulfilling move is to go camping. So I want us to go camping on the anniversary of George Floyd's death. I'm not going to ask you to do this in the name of my court case, because you don't know me. That just is a coincidence as far as you're concerned. But once you get to know me, and once you get to know the prophecy, and once you get to know the gray, as I do, then you go celebrate the establishment of Zion on May 25th, 2050, just as I celebrated. And together we will honor George Floyd in a campground for freedom, walking away from the police and the corporate America and saying enough and enough. In George's name, we're going to walk away, and we're going to celebrate his life, mourn his death, and become unified. So may the great watch over you, guide you, protect you, keep you from all harm, and teach you right from wrong. May you be worthy of them. May your thoughts, words, and deeds reflect truth, good and light, your unicorn way. Find your joy and pursue it. Make that your guild choice and get to Camp Zion. My name is Zion. I love you way too much to ever say goodbye.